don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Whoa! Hello there. Hello, 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 hello. Look at this. Troy Ingram, Councilor Troy Ingram here in the house. I haven't seen Councilor Ingram in a while. Hope you're doing well, brother. Hope you're having a good summer out at the Prairie Creek. A lot of crazy shit going on out at the Prairie Creek. I need to get with you and talk to you about your thoughts and feelings about everything that's going on out there. I've been meaning to get a hold of you to talk to you about that. Your various thoughts. Obviously, we'll talk off the record so you don't get like kicked out or anything crazy because of what all the nonsense they're doing. So I'll talk to you off the record. Welcome. Hey, it's just like starting all over. This is like the first episode. This is 001. This is 501. I hate even saying it. I was trying to figure out how to type it. The 501st, 500 firsty, the 501 501st. What is it? What do I say? It's not, I was going to say like 51st. What did I actually put in the thing? I think it says, let me see what it says, because now I forgot. Let me see what it says. What is this? It says, this is the 501st. 501st. That's what it is. God, that was horrible. I hate these low numbers. It is what it is. Welcome, everybody. Hey, it's been a busy day today. Yes, pray for and what? That's exactly right, Troy. Well, good evening. Listen, we've got a lot to talk about. This has been a busy day. I've been monitoring meetings since 9 o'clock this morning. First meeting kicked off Delaware County Commissioners. Second meeting kicked off Randolph County Commissioners. The Grant County Commissioners then kicked off at, those were both at 9. The Grant County Commissioners kicked off at 10. I have not watched the Grant County Commissioners yet, nor have I watched Delaware County, and I haven't watched Randolph County because they don't have it up yet. I called and got into a little bit of a tizzy with Laura Martin earlier because she's telling me that they're basically doing what Alexandria is doing. They're recording it to some. They're working harder, not smarter. They're recording. They are recording the meetings to a feed, and that's where we that's where it's live streaming to. So during the meeting, we can watch it live. Then after the meeting, they take some time and they pull it down and they do some weirdness to the video, and then they upload it as a YouTube video. And I called Miss Laura Martin, and I said, who's the auditor in Randolph County, and I said, let me ask you a question. Why are you not just live streaming to YouTube? And she said, because that's not what our system was set up to do. That's not what we're set up to do. And the law says we don't have to change our stuff around. I said, listen, it's not hard. You don't need to change it around. You don't need to change it around. So we're waiting. She said it would be uploaded sometime this week. Tonight, I'm going to watch the Delaware County Commissioners meeting. And whenever they upload Randolph counties, I'll watch it. And then tonight, if I get done with Delaware counties, I'm also going to watch Grant counties. But the big meetings tonight were the Winchester City Council meeting because of one item they talked about. And then, well, actually kind of two, and we'll get into that in a moment. And then the other big one was the City of Muncie meeting. And we're going to talk about Winchester and what happened in Winchester. But the biggest part of the show is going to be the Muncie City Council meeting and what happened there. This episode is called, it's 501st episode, and it's called The Flip Has Flopped. And yeah, that's definitely true. The flip has flopped. We've got a couple people here in the chat. Charlize says Brandon and Jerry earned their free Lincoln Day dinner ticket tonight. They don't get free Lincoln Day dinners. They're just going to be able to be allowed to come to the party this Saturday and use a porta potty at Scott Alexander's business. But then the big comment here, the big comment here is this one. Constitutionally conservative-minded Republican, I guess we'll call him, not these kind of Republicans, a different kind of Republican. Councilor Troy Ingram says, what's been going on with the Republican Party? I'd say they would let anybody in, but obviously that's not true. Laugh my ass off. Hey, Troy, you ought to go try to join the Republican Party as a Republican. And I bet you can't get in as a Republican, but they'll let in any kind of Democrat off the street. Yeah, I just, I'll tell you, I watched that meeting. The Muncie City Council meeting should have taken legitimately 30 minutes. This should have been a quick meeting. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am meeting. But these people will absolutely derail a train wreck. They can't even perform a train wreck properly. So we'll be talking about all of that. Before we get there, obviously, very, 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 very important that you, as quickly as you can, smash the like button. Subscribe to the show if you haven't. It doesn't cost you anything. Just hit the subscribe button. Also, click that bell so you get notified when we are live and when we drop content. Obviously, we are live 5 nights a week, Sunday through Thursday. You know that, at 9 p.m. But click the bell all the same. Share the show with everyone you know. If you are here live being Monday, August 4th, 2025 at 9:14 p.m. Eastern, then you're going to want to communicate over here. And if you're here in the future via the replay button, you're going to want to communicate down here. And let us know. If you want to communicate with us, there are the links. You can find us: Facebook, X, which is Twitter, Rumble, YouTube, my studio line, the email to the show, my personal email. You can get a hold of us. Don't ever say you can't get a hold of us, because there it is. Let's see what you guys are saying. Troy says, do they still... Wait a minute. Yeah, what are you talking about? You said not in Madison County. I don't know what you mean, not in Madison County. Got to give more context. Troy, I could test that theory. They'd refuse me in a New York second. I don't know. Charlize, they are taking anybody and everybody. All kinds of bodies they're taking. So, I don't know. Oh, yeah, well, they don't allow them over here too. I think we might have started it first. I don't know. It's really quite interesting. We're going to read I'm going to start off there before we go into the council meetings. That's exactly right, Jeff. That is 100% right. Before we get into the council meetings, I'm going to read to you a statement that is, in my opinion, really, it's bigly. It's big time. This is a big time statement. I like this because of what it says and how it says it and what's going on. Now, I will give you a little bit of kind of a preemptive warning here, as I always do. The statement is coming from Mr. Jeff Robinson. Jeff Robinson is the former city councilor for District 2. He did not lose that seat. He ran for mayor against Dan Ridenour in the 2023 election. So he gave up his council seat, a seat which he most definitely would have won re-election to. He would have won re-election to his council seat had he not ran for mayor, but he decided that he felt he needed to take a shot and run for mayor against Dan Ridenour. I don't agree with everything Jeff says, always and ever. I don't disagree with everything he says. If we were talking about Jeff running for a national race, I definitely would not back him. Maybe not even at a state level, but as far as local level, all day. I support him all day. I support what he did on the council all day. Okay? I don't have many problems with what Jeff did. Jeff ran a good meeting. He ran a productive meeting, a professional meeting, and he ran a meeting for the citizens. He is a Democrat, but there's always Democrat and Republican games. Let's just be really honest. Both sides do it. And when both sides call the other one out and act like they don't do it, that makes me so violent. I'm like, just don't do that. Both sides play games, man. All the way up and down. So quit. That being said, Jeff and the crew that Jeff was with did a damn good job. So it's, sucks every day. Anyways, Jeff put out a statement about this most recent party switching. And we talked about this a lot last night. I'm not going to go heavy into this, but this really plays a major part in what we're going to be talking about as far as my analysis of the council meeting from Muncie tonight. So this fits right in there. And Jeff shared this statement. Let me see when Jeff shared the statement. Jeff shared the statement at 5:21. So he shared it before I was even in Winchester, before the council meeting hadn't begun yet. He shared this before any of this. I'm going to read this to you. My post went along with this, said, former Muncie City Councilor Jeff Robinson, Democrat, released a statement concerning his thoughts on the recent news of a handful of former Delaware County Democrats switching to the Delaware County Republican Party over the last couple of months. Specifically speaking, two of the individuals who switched parties are currently elected Muncie City Councilors. And due to these two councilors switching parties, the Muncie City Council went from a Democrat-controlled council to a Republican-controlled council. Jeff's complete statement, I will read that to you. But for a little bit of context, I wanted to give you a bit of information. The Muncie City Council is made up of 9 councilors, as many people know. After the 2023 election, the council was made up of 6 Democrats and 3 Republicans. So although Ridenhour won, he really had lost the council. They were very bothered by that. They were very bothered by the fact that he lost the council. And so that was a big thing. And it's been a big thing that you've seen his Danatics talking about over the last several months. It's just been something that a lot of people have made a lot of hay over. Okay. And so with these switches, with these 2 Democrats becoming Republicans basically overnight, it takes the Democrat-controlled council and whittles it down from 6 Democrats to 4 Democrats, which then takes the 3 Republicans to 5. That now means we are operating with a Republican-led council, although no elections taking place. It's wild. I was talking to Audie Barber today. Here's a question, and this is a question. I'm interested what your thought is on this, Kate, and everybody else, obviously. If Brandon Garrett moves to Minnesota next week, if Jerry Dishman says, I'm out of here, I don't want the bullshit anymore, I quit, who caucuses that spot? The Republicans or the Democrats who won the seat? Who gets to caucus it? Technically it'd be the Republican leaves the seat, so the Republicans get it. But the Democrats won the seat. I'm going to have to call down to the Indiana Secretary of State's office tomorrow, and that would be a good place to start. That's I didn't get that heavy into it. Audie and I was talking about it while I was driving, but that's a good question. We'll have to. I don't know. Maybe we can look that up here in a minute. Anyways, back to Jeff's statement here. So we now have a Republican-led council. 5 Republicans, 4 Democrats. 5 Republicans, and 4 Democrats. The mayor's administration and many in the local Republican Party here in Delaware County have been calling this a major win, because now the Republicans control the council. But is that what serving in local government is about? I'm not a Democrat. As I stated, I don't always agree or disagree with everything that Jeff Robinson says or thinks. But I'm going to read this statement to you. And there's a couple specific lines that really speak to me. Yeah, see? Charlize, a Democrat, says, I know what Tim Overton, a Republican's opinion is. Alva, I don't even know what he is, says he was elected as a Democrat, should be Andrew Dale and company. You know? It's definitely a conundrum, in my opinion. Anyways. Okay, we're going to go on, and I'm going to read you Jeff's statement. Jeff says, I've been asked 1,000 times about the 2 Democratic city council members who have switched parties and are now Republicans, shifting the majority on city council. That's a good place to be, Alva. So maybe this will make it clear to anyone who cares how I feel about it. There's so much more I could say, but this post is already long enough. Jeff goes on to say, as a former city council president of a Republican majority city council from 2021 to 2023, in the year 2020, he wasn't. Uh-oh, we've got breaking news from
I found it.
Uh-oh.
Indiana Code 3-13-5-1, Section 1.
Oh, write this down. Say it again.
3-13-5-1.
3-13-5-1.
Section 1.
Section 1A.
A vacancy in an office shall be filled by a caucus comprised of the precinct committeemen from the Senate or House district where the vacancy exists, who represents the same political party that elected or selected the person who vacated the seat.
Man, I almost want to kidnap one of them to make this happen, to see what happens.
So it's the party that they were elected by.
Yeah.
They were elected under, not what party they affiliate with now.
Wow.
That's what I'm reading in code.
Man, that could be a major legal battle. I mean, they would both disagree, or, the Republicans would disagree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Oh, I know. But according to code.
No, yeah, in my opinion, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. So, moving on, I want to thank you, Kate. So, as a former city council president of a Republican majority city council who served alongside both of these individuals, the 2023 Democratic nominee for mayor, and as someone who continues to be highly engaged within the local Democratic Party, this is Jeff Robinson, I can say this plainly. This isn't about their values changing. It's about hurt feelings. It's about tribalism. It's about picking a team rather than simply serving the best interest of their constituents and the people of Muncie. Jeff Robinson says, I campaigned alongside both of these individuals. He says, I gave my time, his energy, and significant financial support from his own campaign to help get these people elected because he says they shared a vision for Muncie. He goes on to say that he believed and still do that the current administration is taking our community down the wrong path. These council members who just a year and a half ago stood with me against that very path, now they've chosen to join it and sit next to people who previously cursed them, but have suddenly become their biggest supporters, simply because of the letter R that now appears next to their names. When elected leaders abandon their stated vision for the sake of political convenience, it's not just a party or its chairman they betray. It's the people who believed in them, voters, donors, volunteers, etc. It further erodes public trust. It undermines the necessary work our city still desperately needs. Jeff says, let me be clear. This is not a win for the Republicans. And I agree. I agree. This is not a win for the Republicans. Absolutely. He goes on to say, or a loss for the Democrats. I also agree. No matter how much the local GOP wants you to believe any of those. This is a loss for the citizens of Muncie, Jeff says. After the election is over, the jersey you wear shouldn't matter. And that's why this is very real, because I agree with that in all aspects of the political process, but never any place more than local government. I agree with it at the state level. I agree with it at the national level. But there are some aspects where as a senator, as a United States senator, being Democrat or Republican and representing your people as such kind of decides how you'll do this or how you'll do that. Not always, and it shouldn't be the end-all be-all, but it can be a factor. But on the local level, I just totally disagree with that, because on the local level, we don't deal with political issues. We are not dealing with constitutional issues. Matter of fact, none of the elected city officials are even constitutional office holders. Like the sheriff is a constitutional office holder, a judge is a constitutional office holder. The mayor is not. That's the reason the mayor just goes and goes and goes and goes, and it's, not everywhere has mayors. Yeah, the corner is. Tweety Bird says, why is this allowed? What was the original purpose of this? And to that, I'll say it's allowed because you have a right to change your mind and your opinion. And people should be given the space to change. Who you are when you're 20 isn't who you are when you're 40. And I understand that. Now, I question the fact that Jerry Dishman could run for party chairman of the Democrats on March 1st and then claim to be a completely devout, changed Republican Party member 5 months and 2 days later. Okay. Rachel Clark, as a former elected official, listen, Rachel Clark was elected as a Democrat. She says, I flipped parties, but I did it the honorable way. She stepped down from the elected position and allowed the Democrats to put someone in her place. If they really believe in switching parties, they should resign their positions. Okay. Now, this is the one place I'm going to disagree with you, Charlize. I will say this because I will be honest. I don't believe I truly don't believe that they sought these people out. I don't believe that. I don't believe they went fishing. I don't think that they went fishing. I think that once they found out that these people were possibly interested in this, that then they cultivated them. It's like this, and this is it's like a predator looking for, I won't even go with minors. Let's say a predator looking for someone out on the street. A predator can pick up people and can steer them away from like a good home, like an 18, 19-year-old boy or girl. But somebody that's like a runaway, they've ran into that and they've made themselves that much more easy to be picked off by a predator. I don't believe they came looking. I believe that it's like these two candidates were running away from something. And so then it was easy to, okay, well, we've got a home for you here. We've got a home for you. Going on with Jeff's letter. After an election is over, the jersey you wear shouldn't matter. What should matter is who you serve and how you serve them. Party loyalty should never come before community loyalty. Amen. Changing parties halfway through their term shows us exactly who they'll be serving the second half of it. Hint, hint, it is not the citizens. And that is never more true than in tonight's Muncie City Council meeting. And I've got the perfect thing lined up for you to see. He goes on to say, we need leaders in Muncie, Delaware County who are transparent, accountable, and unafraid to work through differences, not ones who retreat to the side that feels politically safer because they weren't elected by elected party chair or because they were questioned about a vote on opioid settlement money. Leadership is not about which team you're on. It is about who you show up for. The message the citizens have received is that party affiliation is what is important to these individuals, and that's a huge disappointment. Now, what's very interesting to me, what's interesting to me is that in this comment of Jeff's, he didn't say anything nasty. He wasn't hard on anybody. He just said how he felt. What I think is interesting is not the elected official, but a wife of the elected official comes in here going hardcore, balls to the wall, defending the person. And it's really interesting. Ashley Garrett says, your opinion. As far as why Brandon did it, you're wrong. He, as a person, has not changed. His beliefs have not changed. That party has changed. Their beliefs have changed. They make decisions out of spite. Something great could have been brought to them, and depending on whose idea it would depend on whether or not it would get shot down. Maybe you should have asked Brandon before thinking that he did it because he was asked about a vote. And then there was more to it than just being asked about why he voted the way he did. Everybody jumped straight to social media, but no person has gone up to Brandon and asked him or talked to him. I'm pretty sure we have seen you all several times and nobody says anything. And to that, I say, hey, listen, Brandon, I guess maybe I need to say, no. Sorry. Hey, Mrs. Garrett, since your husband, the candidate, the elected official, refuses to talk for himself, I guess I will direct this at you. Don't be slinging no bullshit. because I came right to the man. I reached out to him. I text, I messaged, I tagged him and stuff. And you know what? Nothing. Silence. Silence. You commented to me. You came after me. And this is after Brandon and I already had the first talk about the fact that when I go to him asking for a question, I expect an answer. And when I go to him and I am asking a question and he doesn't, and he hides out or does whatever he does, I don't expect to hear from the peanut gallery defending him at that point. You are a citizen of Muncie, and you're free to have whatever opinion you want to have. You're his spouse and you're or sister or whatever you guys are. I don't know who's who. I know there's two of you. Somebody's one and the other's the other. Somebody needs to remind him that he's the elected official and you can defend him. But when you go crazy about people asking him a question, your defense of him makes it look bad. It looks bad for him. Brandon, it looks bad on you, bro. The fact that you don't do your own talking, that you put the missus up to talk for you. That's a bad look, man. This is now the third time I'm telling you this. People attempt to get information from Brandon. He has hid out and you want me to tell you the excuses I've heard? I've heard, well, he works 12 hours a day. Hey, so does everybody. So give me a break. My phone rings 24 hours a day. You can text me. You can email me. You can message me. All right? My phone works 24 hours a day. If you're working 12, I'm not expecting for you to call or answer questions while you're at work. I'm reasonable, man. But the biggest issue here is I've been told that the reason he doesn't respond to people is because he can't control himself. And if somebody calls him out, he's liable to go off and cuss at him or say something crazy or liable to fight him. And I'm telling you, if that's the case, then maybe he ought to step down and we ought to see who we get a caucus in and what the deal is, because that can't be it. If you just avoid people because you can't talk to anybody unless you've got the dais between you on the council meeting, that's a problem. Because now that he's made this great big change in his life, he's had an awful lot to say from behind the council chamber, from behind the dais for the first time in years. But he's quiet everywhere else. Why is that? Why is that? I reached out and Jeff responded, and I said, why is it Brandon Garrett is not offering the argument against Jeff? It's always strange to me that no one ever hears from the actual elected official. And then Ashley fires back to me and says, how many times do we have to tell you he doesn't do social media? Well, let me tell you something, Miss Candidate, since Brandon doesn't, I apparently his ears have fallen off, his fingers have fallen off. Look. I could get that if this was Jerry's wife telling me this, but this is unacceptable from a man that is Garrett's age. You are an elected official of a city that is one of the largest cities in East Central Indiana. It's one of the largest cities in Indiana. What are we, the 13th largest city? The 14th largest city? And you're telling me I don't do social media? Don't run for re-election. Resign tomorrow. And I'm going to be real mean when I say this. Okay? if you're too uncontrollable, you're too stupid, you're too busy to do social media, you should not be a sitting elected official in the year 2025. I'm sorry about you. Okay? That's just, Jerry Dishman can do social media. So I don't have time for that. I just don't understand. I just don't understand. Rachel Clark says, she's on here. Ashley Garrett, Brandon could have said something publicly, like to the people who voted for him, and explained it's because of those Dems that he is even blessed to be able to sit in that position. He owes them an explanation. That's fantastic. Oh yeah, Carrie. That's well, his wife and his sisters and the three people that are in his life and are it's kind of like Weekend at Bernie's. You know, I don't know. It's wild. Okay, so that's that. Now we're moving on now to what's got me heated, and it's crazy because you can see it. You can absolutely see it. She can see you, I think. Troy Ingram just said, hello, Rachel. You're not on YouTube, Rachel. You need to be on YouTube. You need to make a YouTube account with your name and get on YouTube so people that have YouTube can see you. Look, here's this. So Rachel can see it. Troy Ingram said, oh, tell Rachel I said hello, please. LOL. So that's there, Rachel. Wayne Scaife says, what are the people in his district saying about him switching? Sorry about that. That was my fault. I didn't know if you're going to hit that or not because I skipped it. Well, I'm telling you, everything I've heard is they're not happy with it. A lot of people are not happy with it. A lot of people aren't happy because it's not. Listen, I'm coming to this from a Republican. Not a Republican. I mean, Republican-ish, right-leaning libertarian, conservative libertarian, libertarian-ish conservative, whatever you want to call me, loser, whatever. But I'm not a Democrat. I don't understand. I don't understand this. It's like, I agree with Jeff. It's not a win for the Republicans, and it's not a loss for the Democrats. It is a loss for the process and for the people of Muncie. I'm not in office. I'm not required to have social media. Rachel said. All right. So I'm going to put this up here, and I want you guys to listen to this. This, like I said, this meeting should have been a quick meeting because it was a nothing agenda, but there was major one topic. That's a very good. Why don't we get rid of the parties? That should be a thing, especially at the local level. Parties are a joke. It's a joke. But the problem is, though, the problem is not necessarily the parties. The problem is the gatekeeping feature. And even if we didn't have parties, the same idiots would clump up and still do this gatekeeping feature if it was the ones and twos or the shirts and skins, whatever, it would still be the same thing. Okay, so the council meeting tonight for City of Muncie was an hour and 41 minutes. Blows my mind. Blows my mind. This meeting really probably should have taken about 35 to 40 minutes. Okay, but I want you to hear this. This is Ordinance 2525. Yeah, now we have party affiliation for school board in Indiana. Thank you, JD. Thank you, JD. All right, let's take a listen to this. For the people that already sat through this, my apologies, but this is big stuff. We gotta review this.
Yes.
Gillian,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Selby,
Yes.
McIntosh,
No.
Green,
Yes.
Basham,
Yes.
Mason.
Yes.
8 yeses, 1 no.
Okay, ordinance number 25-25. Ordinance 25-25, an ordinance amending chapter 35, section 22 of the Muncie City Ordinance entitled Emergency Medical Service Fees and Collection. Okay, this ordinance seeks to amend the EMS fees and provisions related to the collection of EMS fees in response to House Bill 1385 that was adopted in 2024 and took effect January 1st, 2025. Chief Burford.
Before we make a motion, point of order.
Motion to adopt.
Point of order, sir.
Yeah.
Could you, Councilor Gibson, address the amendment to the ordinance that we've received?
Yeah.
And give us advice as to how to proceed with our motions.
Okay.
What?
You can start with a motion to adopt, and then if you want to amend thereafter, make a motion to amend,
Okay.
and then you would have another vote to motion to adopt as amended. But before we begin discussion, I'd start with the motion to
Okay.
adopt.
Mr.
I'd like
President,
to make-
I make a motion that we adopt 25-25.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion-
Hear how quick they are?
Motion
Quick,
made
quick,
by-
quick, quick.
Councilman Basham, seconded by Councilperson Selby. Roll call. No.
Nope.
Keep getting ahead of myself.
All
Chief.
night he did. Don't understand
All
it.
right. If I can, I want to begin with a clarifying statement. Last month, while we were speaking, I made a statement that I had had a conversation with councilpersons Powell and Gullion after they had a recent visit to a fire station. And I said that through our conversation, that kind of sparked,
Dude,
us looking and
Troy,
moving
it's
forward
bad.
with this. By no means did I want to insinuate that these two councilpersons asked us to raise this billing ordinance. So I definitely want to clarify that, publicly.
So what we hear here is the fire chief got his butt chewed off because he made it seem at the last council meeting like all of this came up after Nora and Sarah were there. And I guarantee you, Nora was one unhappy person. The other thing, I wish Basham, and I think there's one other person, would stop calling the attorney counselor, because it's just, it doesn't confuse me, but there are people out there that get confused. It's stupid. We all get it. He's the council attorney. Just refer to him as council attorney. Refer to him as the council attorney. So you're not on there talking to the 10th counselor, because that's obviously Audie Barber, not the attorney for the council. We all get it. I get it. It's just don't call him counselor. That's stupid.
Thank you.
Thank you for your conversations. It was about lip assist at assisted living facilities.
Yes.
And that's what it was.
Yes.
But it kind of sparked our conversations in-house about our billing ordinance. So I wanted to clarify that. So
Good.
Good.
Okay. I'm glad we clarified that.
you had some questions last month. And some of them I think were addressed here in the amendment. One of the things that was asked was about the decision for write-offs, and it does say the chief or his designee already in this. As I went back through that was already there. You asked what this would do as far as citywide. Well, because it only truly affects right now out of network and out of contract private insurance carriers, that's about 2% of our total call volume. So increasing the rate up, if we received every single bit from the 2%, now we're not going to get it if there's copays and deductibles applied in there, it would be about $252,000 in additional revenue annually. We believe realistically, we're probably looking in the around 150 range. And obviously, as we had time with this, we would know more. But because of the way it works with our negotiations, how those prices are set, obviously, and I looked up the numbers, 53% of our transports are Medicare, and 30% are Medicaid. Those are negotiated, through the CMS, and regardless of what we bill, they only pay what they pay, period. And same thing with our Anthem and our contract providers. They have set fees. Anthem actually currently pays under the CMS rates for Indiana. So I hope that answers that for you.
Mr. President, I'll start.
Yes.
I'll start. So this will cover, or these increases will go to insured residents.
If you look, it goes across the board, but we did have, and I don't know if we need to look at the amendment or not, but we did have discounted rate for self-pay people. And self-pay
Yes.
equals, let's have it up here, it's 5% of our services that we provide to self-pay.
And again, I just want to clarify that you can do that. You can negotiate two different costs for two different.
We absolutely can. In fact, I reached out to our billing company to ask them questions about treat note transport and also those write-offs. And you absolutely can. I actually have a whole response here from them that deal with both of these. So,
All right. I wanted to continue real quick. So this covers insured people. For instance, when I was on the Affordable Care Act, it would have covered me, correct?
Correct.
So my deductible for the Affordable Care Act was $9,785 a year. So you're increasing these fees. I would be responsible for the 400% that you've increased these fees. Is
Well,
that correct?
if it applies to your deductible, then yeah, it would apply to your deductible, I believe. I'd have to contact our billing company to verify that. The way we're set up now is with the insurance is that we don't collect on those copays and deductibles.
Okay. And so again, we go to copays and co-insurance. A lot of plans have an 80-20. And so under the current fees, let's just say basic life support outside of the city limits. Right now, the 20% would be $127.40. But with your increased fees, our residents would be paying $320.
Yeah, potentially, yes, correct. It is.
Okay. So that is going to cause some financial hardship at a time when we have a lot of other financial hardship coming in from State Senate Bill 1.
It can, and there are, but we do have a financial hardship clause in here.
Okay.
That apply as well.
I wanted to, one more question, then I'll release. So you said that the conversation with Councilperson Gullion and I sparked this.
I didn't think, well, it didn't spark this. It kind of,
Now, this is really important here, what Rachel's saying here. It's making money, and she's responding to Troy. Troy said, isn't EMS already making money hand over fist? Guess where they want to put the fist now? Great statement. Rachel Clark says, it's making money, but instead of spending it on EMS and upgrading the equipment that is much needed, they keep buying new fire trucks. Rachel goes on and says they are wanting to buy a new tower that will get used 3 to 4 times a year, but not get new monitors or cots. Now, Rachel's not just talking out of her ass. Rachel is a longtime EMS paramedic personnel, but besides just being someone out in the world, she is the EMS personnel that created the Muncie Fire Department's EMS program. And she was the first Muncie Fire Department EMS chief of the program. And under Rachel Clark, the program did very well. Okay. So I just want to give you, there's some context more over to what Rachel's saying here than just somebody just spouting. She knows far more about it than I do. And because she's lived it and been in there and seen the numbers and know what goes on, she knows Burford, she knows the council, she knows the city. She was there living this.
led us to bring up the discussion again. That is correct.
Okay, so House Bill 1385 was adopted in March of 2024. We annexed all those parcels, all those lots in February of 2025.
Sure.
Did you have conversation before January 2025 about increasing fees?
We had conversations after this passed last year, correct? We started
So-
working on some of these.
Before, after the House Bill 1385.
This is big.
was adopted, was passed.
Mhm.
But before we went through the process of annexing three different parcels of land, you had conversations with Mayor Ridenour about increasing the fees, but you did not disclose that to the people that you were annexing. Is that correct? An accurate
Yeah,
statement?
that's a fair statement, sure. Yeah, we
That's
had
a
discussed this
fair
when it originally
statement.
Came out, and there was discussion whether we were going to proceed with this or whether we were not going to proceed with this. But to specifically say it was based on annexation, I didn't have that conversation.
I'm not saying it was based on annexation. I'm saying that we had members of the administration standing up where you're standing, saying that it wouldn't increase taxes, and no, it's not. But there are residual costs that will be taken on by people who were annexed, and they weren't given that information prior to. Is that accurate?
That's a fair statement, sure.
Okay.
So
The
Nora
thing is,
played
where they
some,
were before-
gotcha game there, and that seems like a big point. Now he's going to fire back here and say, well, but the Delaware County EMS was doing the same thing, and they were raising money, and so it goes back and forth. And this is just some political theater here. and it's who presents it better or whatever. Now, Nora laid that out like Nora does, man. Nora is no slouch. She is not an idiot. Don't like Nora, not a fan of Nora, but we will say, like, okay, she's being stupid here, she's doing good here. And unfortunately, I think she might be the only person on the council that actually currently is alive. I don't think that any of the other 8 councilors have a pulse. I'm not sure. Okay.
Their rates had already increased because Delaware County did pass their billing ordinance, which I have a copy of here. They passed theirs in December. And the rates that we have, actually, our mileage rating is lower, but our billing rates are very close, very similar. Like I said, I have that with me here today. They raised their mileage up to $35 a mile, where we were asking to move ours to $30 a mile.
Would that, I'm sorry, may I ask one more?
Yes.
I'm sorry, go ahead,
Go ahead.
Councilperson Goyen.
No, that's right. Finish up.
Would that increase, 100% increase, apply to every single vehicle you send out? So would it apply to
No,
the
ma'am.
fire truck, the ambulance, and the paramedic squad?
We can only bill for loaded transport miles. So we
it's
can
just
only
ambulance
bill
that has-
in an ambulance when a
Thank you.
patient is in there. And our average transport miles is 2.2 miles per transport
Okay,
as of the first 6 months of this year.
Okay.
thank you.
Councilman Gully.
Okay, so I know we're looking at the possibility of amending something here with, we had the rates listed here, the new rates. And then we kind of talked about the possibility of, instead of having to change these rates every year, anytime the Medicaid, Medicare numbers change, to maybe set it how the state law was
Correct.
set, basically 400, not to exceed 400% of the CMS rate.
Very true,
basically.
Rachel.
So these numbers that you originally provided us, are those at that 400%?
Well, I pulled up all the rates and did the math today. So at that, what I would have to do if it passed council, I would have to present actually the billing company with an actual rate schedule for each type. And that's so if I don't want to get this wrong, as she told us, the Office of the Inspector General comes in to audit the billing company and the Department for Billing, they have a
Why don't we
specific
have
rate.
that right
So
now?
currently CMS for BLS is 406.36, and 400% of that would be 16.25.
Okay, maybe we do.
Which would be where that could not exceed that for a BLS call. ALS 1 is $482.56, and 400% of that would be $1,930.24. And then ALS 2 is $698.44, so that would actually be $2,793.76.
Listen to the
for an
amounts they're
ALS2
raising these.
transport. Now that ALS 2 transports, we had 71 of those in the first 6 months of this year. We don't see very many of them. It requires
Yeah,
you to do multiple
Rachel, listen to
ALS
this.
procedures.
Listen to
and
this,
things
what
like
they're
that.
doing.
So defibrillation, innovation. So it does a little bit, like I said, when these were originally done, these were rounded. So that's why it was a 16. That one, if we did 400%, the BLS.
And listen,
would
I'm
actually
not
go up
saying that maybe money's not needed to raise a little bit. I'm just questioning why so much, how much. Like other places, here in a minute, you're going to hear from Winchester. Winchester actually raised their rates because the guy stood up and said, well, Muncie's already raised theirs. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, it's you guys meet first and they haven't approved it yet. He's like, yeah, this is a done deal. I just sat in the Winchester City Council meeting and he's like, yeah, Muncie's already got this done. And so other places are raising them because they're like, yeah, look at what Muncie's done. Well, we hadn't done it at that point yet. But I mean,
$5.44. But when you look at the ALS 1
Yeah,
and ALS 2
leasing them,
services,
yes.
those would actually go down just a little bit.
Yeah.
if they raise rates, are they
And
going
then the
to
treat
add
no
staff?
transport would have to have its
They have not
own.
added any new firemen to keep
and,
them from getting burnt out. They
Treat no
run their
transport as
asses
well
off.
is covered by most insurances. It is not covered by Medicare, but it is covered by Medicaid. So those are services that are allowed.
Okay.
President Mason.
Yes.
Okay, Chief, to go back to Councilperson Powell, let me is this a true statement? The people that were annexed are still paying less with this amendment, right? If we adopt
Look at
this,
Jerry Dishman.
than what
Look at
they
Jerry
would have
Dishman.
with the county.
I want to point. Yeah, I figured that's what you meant. They're no longer serving them; they're fleecing them. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. I want you to look. All the counselors down the line have like stuff open. They're looking at stuff. Look at Jerry Dishman. His binder's closed up. He's sitting here with his hands folded. He's watching. He may or may not be asleep. I don't know. But it's like he's not asking any questions. He's just, he already knows his answer, the way he's got to vote. He's been told he's got to vote how he's got to vote. And we'll talk about that here in a minute too. Yeah, they have to pay for that new firehouse. They gotta buy all new trucks to put in that new firehouse.
It's very close to the same with the exception
It's close,
of the
so it's
mileage.
nothing like something that's like outlandish or they're
No,
gonna come as a
BLS,
surprise
the
to them.
Yeah, correct. The BLS rate currently in Delaware County is slightly under what the 400% would be,
Okay,
but the ALS 1 and ALS 2 is slightly over what the actual mathematical figure for the CMS
so
rate,
when you say slightly, what's slightly?
like $30,
Okay.
$30,
$30,
$40.
$40, like $30, $40. Who's
Yeah,
talking?
no
Who's
question.
counting $30, $40 when we're talking
Council President
$2,700?
Okay, so so you're saying that we can or cannot set the 400 after your,
You can
after
set,
you,
yeah,
okay,
you could set the 400, but I would still
You would
have
have
to do the math and submit
okay,
that
okay,
billing chart to MedBill with what those specific numbers were.
okay, which are really less than what's here except for the one.
Slightly over BLS, slightly under the 2 ALS.
Uh-huh.
But that takes the liability from them.
Yes. Tweety Bird.
And then puts that liability back on me to make sure that it's true. And that's what that is. And that's why when I asked them about specific figures, as we talked about, they gave me the information to figure it up myself, but they would not figure it for me for the same reason. They didn't want me, they don't want to tell us we're going to make $300,000 and we make
Now that,
30.
well,
So,
but
I mean,
hold
when
up,
I
'cause I
understand
got
that,
some
I
thoughts
appreciate
about
that.
that.
You know,
And it goes,
at the end of the
goes
day, in
both
all
ways a little
reality,
bit,
this
but-
is your ordinance. I'm asking you, to look at these things. Some changes were made, but it's your ordinance. I'm just trying to present some information for you so that you can make a
Oh,
decision.
listen
how you
to
like
what he
to proceed.
says. It's your ordinance.
President, sorry.
You guys are doing it, not me. I'm just asking you. Okay, well then how about we do this? We're going to lower this by a shit ton. What would he have done? Why don't we have any counselors putting that up, offering to say, well, we're not going to do this by 400%. Let's not do anything by 400%. That sounds insane.
We got another, all right. So on E on here, we're talking about how there'll be a reduced cost for the services that are deemed self-pay.
Correct.
And I think originally it was saying 60%, but I think some of the amendments, the possible amendment that the council for the council and the city we're talking about would change that a little bit just because of the state law. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Dan?
well,
Oh,
with talking with MedBill this afternoon after we got this back, technically the self-pay, the maximum amount allowable by law would be the entire thing, which would be a write-off. But so they would prefer us to have a number that it is billed at. That's what they would prefer.
Yeah.
So if not, they're going to bill at the whole rate and then they'll come back and then we'll have to we'll negotiate technically with the people after the fact.
Okay. Well, I'd like to ask our attorney too. So Dan, Mr. Gibson, what is the reason for that wording being changed from 60% to?
It's a pretty complicated process on determining what is allowable for a self-pay discount, taking into various types of payers. I talked with Alan Wisely today and just similar to, I think, what Chief Burford suggested in setting the percentage. It was just simply allowing it to be the maximum amount set by law and then putting the onus on the billing company and the administration.
All right, look right here. Rachel Clark says, At Tweety Bird, Medicaid and Medicare will only pay a set amount and they can't be billed anymore. This is about 40 to 50% of Muncie. This leaves the burden to pay more on the other half of the citizens.
Kind of follow that, so we're not constantly coming back to council to make.
All right, we're going to jump ahead here a little
They
bit.
need a
They just keep asking
specific
these
percentage
same
that I
types
think
of questions.
Question. You do have, and you reserve the right.
They
for
talk
those-
to him like, you know, you can override this. If you don't want to bill people, you can say, okay, we're not going to bill those people because they're like hard, you know, they're hard up. And they're talking about like, you know, we don't want you guys to turn people away. And, you know, yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean?
Specific.
Couple things for you, council. Appreciate you.
Okay.
So if
Now,
we
this is
work
interesting.
directly with the hospital and say, okay,
We get
well,
a citizen that
apply for
comes
your
up.
hardships. How are you covering your medical bills at the hospital? You know, and there's a little bit.
Okay, we have
Cameron Grubbs. Got a couple of things for you, council. Appreciate you. This in itself, I have a few concerns with because you have what appears to be, we've got a maximum threshold that we can raise the amount to. And that's what we're taking it up to.
I want you to listen to this, Rachel, and I want your opinion on what he says.
And unfortunately, through whatever reasons, like the information was not, I was not able to find it in the package or anything online to support the reason. Like, I don't know if people are getting paid 291% more than they were 4 years ago, or
Listen. This is very, very important. Rachel says, let's all remember, they are bringing in millions with the current billing rates. Why make it the max? That's the question. So here's what I need you to do with Rachel. I need you, because this is your world. I need you to, when you get time here in the next, I won't spoil the ending of this here. So I won't say what I was going to say. We're getting ready to hear it, but I need you to sit down with me in the next couple coming days or weeks and help me figure out what I need to send in as a records request to look at all of this, to figure out exactly what they're doing, why this is happening. Because that's big. That's big. Let's all remember they are bringing in millions with the current billing rates. Why make it the max now? Yes.
fuel costs are 291% more than what they were 4 years ago, or we bought new ambulances or anything like that. And I absolutely want to make sure that this is clear, that I want our first responders to be paid and taken care of. This is not about keeping money from them, but I have a concern about raising the costs for the public. And
there you go.
It is 291% of what it was 4 years ago. And we also have to consider the second and third levels of this. What happens when we're charging all of that? The insurance companies have to pay that, right? Because they're going to raise their rates in order to cover that. So even though I might not feel it, or you might not feel it in an emergency situation, you're going to feel it. People are going to feel it in their insurance copayment or insurance payments at work. It's going to raise the cost of it. It's going to be essentially an additional tax. It's not a direct tax, but it is essentially a raised cost that we have to be considerate of. Now, I personally believe that healthcare, especially in emergency situations, is a right to be taken to the hospital. And I fully believe that our EMS services should be funded well, and we should not be trying to make a system self-sustainable or even profitable, by doing this just because we can, because that's what the state legislature allows. I would ask that possibly going ahead, or at least just maybe tabling it for a bit to
Now listen,
share some information, because
I don't always agree with everything. I don't agree with most of what Cameron says, honestly. I disagree with a lot of what he says. Not everything, because I don't disagree with 100% of anybody. But I disagree with a lot of Cameron Grubbs. But this is a really good question. All of the council, well, I can't say all, not Jerry, but Jeff Green, Basham, Rowe, look, Green, Basham, Rowe, Sarah, Nora, and maybe Garrett ask a question. 5 or 6 council members, 5 or 6 council members have serious questions about this. Cameron says, look, because this is the end. If they vote on this, it's passed. If they vote on this tonight, it's passed. They introduced it last month. I think they should have tabled it last month. They should have tabled it and sent it to committee last month, but they introduced it. That's why I always say just the ramp up to always introduce isn't a good thing, because we only have 2 votes in Muncie. You don't get 3 votes. There's not a third vote. You introduce it and you pass it. You introduce it and you pass it. You introduce it and you pass it. So we've introduced it. So Cameron says, there's a lot of questions I'm hearing. There are a lot of questions here. I looked through the packet. I couldn't find the answers. So can we maybe table this, send it to a committee or something, and come back next month when more people have heard about this and when we've gotten more answers? That makes sense. Okay. Rachel says, also, fun fact, there is a collections agency for EMS. So if you don't pay your bill, they are sending you to collections. Yep. All right. So Cameron, this is a good idea. Table it. Like I said, don't always agree with Cameron, but I do agree with this. Let's table it and get to the bottom of some of these questions.
I feel like the public is unaware of how this is going to impact them. There was no, like I said, outside of the ordinance, there was no information in the packet. We had zoning ordinances come through, and they've got affidavits and they've got all kinds of documentation to go through why this ordinance should go through. And then this one comes through and it's going to affect everybody, even if it's just 2%, the people that live or that have something happen out of the district, it's going to affect their costs. I think the public should be aware of, like, where these numbers are coming from, and are we just trying to get it to meet those, or are we doing more than we should? I would also ask on that last point that you had, as far as we don't have a protocol, and Chief Burford talked about an in-house protocol. I think it would be beneficial to have something set in place that is there beforehand, before passing this, so that people know, even if it were just like hey, if you are 30% of poverty or whatever like that, that you would qualify for this, something, a basic standard that would let people know that they can apply for hardship or anything like that. I think
so. It wouldn't just be something done in his mind, sitting behind a desk somewhere where no one knows.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So he sets down.
Wayne Scaife. I had a couple
Scaife
questions.
gets up.
Pretend like us in the audience never heard this before. So all of y'all are familiar with this. And y'all saying some stuff that at least I'm not familiar with. So I have 3 questions. What's the purpose of the raise?
What's the purpose of the increase?
I think Councilman Green, you asked one of my questions. What exactly is the hardship clause?
What's the hardship clause?
Who decides whether it's approved or denied? I think
who
the
decides?
Chief answered some of that, but I want more clarification. So before y'all answer those 3 questions, I want y'all to consider this. Remember, Congress just passed this big, beautiful bill, and we don't know who's going to get kicked off Medicaid and Medicare. So if y'all vote on this increase, some of those people that are covered now might not be covered in a year and a half. So just consider that, but please answer those three questions. What's the purpose of the increase?
Purpose?
What exactly is the hardship
What
clause?
is the hardship
And
clause?
who approves or denies the
And who
hardship?
does those are wonderful questions.
Chief Burford.
Point.
Anybody have an answer?
Thought he would, Jason.
Look, let's look at Brandon. Brandon just kind of likes looking around, doesn't seem like he's too into it. Has he been told how to vote?
One thing, I believe if you look back at the existing ordinance now, it actually has the same ability for the chief to write off. And I can say the 3 years that I have been in the chief's office between being deputy chief and chief, I've not had a single case come through. So, it is there, but it's something that was put in the initial billing ordinance in 2019. You talk about costs and stuff. Well, in 2019, the ambulances that we now buy, which are not luxury ambulances, were $120,000. They're $260 now with no equipment, nothing on them whatsoever. The cost of a cot, just the cot that goes in the back of an ambulance now is $29,000. The loader that goes with it is $37,000. The powers to put patients in and out. So the costs of these things have really grown. We set our rates and they were a fixed rate. So, and that was, 2019, they were fixed pre-COVID. And so, yes, it has become much more expensive. Our supplies have gone through the roof since 2019. So there is some benefit, like I said, but when you look at the fact that it was really, when they passed that House bill, it was to allow the billing, but also made it so when they billed at the rates, you could not receive anything that was not covered by the insurance company from the patients at that rate. So when that came out, of course, the billing companies all said, hey, man, you really need to take a look at this. Everybody else in the state's doing it. I'm not saying we should all jump off a bridge if they do, but it wasn't the right time for us to take a look at this, as we proceeded. So yeah, I agree. We need to have something in here. There should have been something in here that spelled out how we were going to look at writing off when this was passed originally in 2019, and it wasn't. And then, since we came in, we're looking at a lot of things like that within the administration right now, and how to make sure that what we do is fair and equitable to every member of the community. But like I said, 98% of the people in this community will see zero change in their billing with this. So, when you look at really in the scheme of things, that's why I said, it's really your ordinance. So, you guys decide what you want to do, and obviously the fire department will thank you, and that's how we will proceed. So I do want to thank you, Councilor Scully, and I want to thank you for emailing me your questions, allowing me to do a little bit of research. I am not an expert. That's why I asked last month.
I am not an expert.
To please email them to me, and we will
But
discuss
I
them
did
in a
sleep
public forum.
in a Holiday Inn
And I
Express
appreciate
last
that.
night.
Thank you very much. And I appreciate Mr. Gibson for working with us also. Thank you.
All right, now we get to hear from the absolute keenest political mind in Delaware County. When you hear this man speak, you know you are listening to a political dynamo.
Come on up.
Hi, Jason Chapin, President of Local 1348. I just wanted to, again, I said this last month when we introduced this, my local's been talking about this for several years, in the sense even before this House bill, because for two reasons. In 2019, when we started this EMS game,
this is big.
We took the 2014 Delaware County ordinance and copied and pasted it and made it ours. Identical. So basically our current rates are 2014 rates because we copied the 2019 ordinance. In 2019, their ordinance was 5 years old when we copied and pasted it and made it ours. And so obviously we've got 10-year-old rates. The doctor's office, anyone else is going to keep 10-year-old rates. Like the chief said, everything goes up higher, and costs increase. Yet we have basically what is effectively 10-year-old rates. And because we have the write-off for the self-insured, for our self-pays, and the ability to do that, which we've always had, and most of them do get written off because they don't get paid, whether the chief actually meets with that person and writes their bill off. After 6 months, it's just going to be written off, no contact. So no one's getting sued in the history of Muncie EMS for not paying an EMS bill, and most of that gets written off. The no payers, so again, it's not going to affect even that portion.
Insurance, but maybe underinsured,
Right.
or the increases that they'll see from out-of-pocket expenses or co-pays will be.
We got lots of questions
Anyway.
still.
So like with your case, and you talk about, well, am I going to have to pay because I haven't met my deductible? Yours is not going to change with this because if that isn't in network, so if you're part of the marketplace, those things are all negotiated in. So in all reality, changing this doesn't change that unless it changes it for everybody.
I think it's who they still
So,
have.
I can't say there's not ever a potential of a change there, but that would be negotiated by your insurance carrier.
Thank you.
All right, I want you to
Can I
listen
hear
to
what you
this.
just said? I'm trying to process what you just said.
I said, when MedBill bills you for your transport,
Mhm.
what they bill you is at the negotiated rate if your insurance is in network or your Medicare, Medicaid, those things. So being able for us to bill at 400% doesn't mean that you were going to get that bill. If you're in network, if you're a contract provider, if you're Medicare, Medicaid, those rates are negotiated and set. It doesn't matter technically what we set here. This really captures those out of networks that the state really provided that 400% for, but also allowed the write-off on the backside so that those people didn't get hit with these unexpected bills when they came in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jason, I appreciate your quick response to my call the other day in that emergency situation. I really appreciate
What?
that. I just wanted to make sure I told you.
I don't know if that's something we should be saying from the dais.
Any other
It's like
questions?
a personal issue.
Any other comments?
All right, here we go. This is where it's all going to come down. It's all going to come down, and we're going to see really once and for all, truthfully, that the flip has flopped. Okay, here we go.
I would like to make a motion. I believe that
Sarah Gullion, I call her Gullion because that's her name. Some people up there call her like Gillian, Dolian, Gallion. I'm like, dude, could we have her pronounce her name and then everyone go down the line and pronounce her name? And so we're finally done with this once and for all. You guys have been up here for like 2 years now. Could we just call her Gullion? So Sarah Gullion does this.
we do have a lot of still questions about this. I feel like, again, we don't know how insurance is going to be affected with.
There are lots of questions about this. We don't know how insurance is going to be affected.
Of the changes federally and statewide.
Changes.
I do like the idea of having something in place, but so that if we do
Having something in place, we heard Nora whisper, "Yeah," down there. Okay, so she's like, "This is like a church service. We're getting ready to be like, amen." All right, listen.
Pass something like this, that we know exactly what the steps are, for people who really can't pay these bills, because we're going to have them. We're in Muncie. We know this. We already have,
We're in Muncie. We know this. What does that mean exactly?
a lot of issues.
We're in
And
Muncie. We
I
know
want to make
this.
sure that we're not making it more difficult for people. So I would suggest maybe sending this to a committee. I'm not sure what that would be, or tabling it.
Why do these counselors still act like they do not have a clue what goes on here? Why do these people still talk like they're afraid of their own shadow? And they're like, I don't know. Could we maybe do like, is it okay to table it? Maybe if they talked like they were like, ugh, I'm making a motion to table it. You know what I mean? Like maybe other people be like, yeah, that she knows what she's talking about. We're tabling this. Where can we? Is it okay?
What, do we have a committee that?
But do we even have a committee that does these things? Do we?
Work well for this.
And she's still talking.
Trying to think.
Correct me if I'm wrong,
Look at her. Listen, I'm gosh darn it, I'm trying to think. Look, watch this. What, like, dude, this is a lot of acting.
We have, a lot of issues, and I want to make sure that we're not making it more difficult for people. So I would suggest.
I don't want to make it as difficult as
sending
what
to
this
a
is.
committee. I'm not sure what that would be, or tabling it.
Look,
do we have a committee that?
Has somebody checked Jerry? Is he alive? He is in the exact same position as he was 20 minutes ago when I was like, look at him. He's in the exact position. His hands have not changed. Have we checked to see if he's handcuffed? He is in the exact position. He has not changed. Watch her throw her pin down.
I'm trying to think.
Correct me if I'm wrong, there's public safety.
That's what I was, yeah.
I'm trying to think, and someone else says public safety, and she's like, "Well, yeah. That's what I was just getting ready to say. I was just getting ready to say public safety. That's what I was thinking when I threw my pin down. Public safety popped into my brain, and then I picked my pin back up."
I'll make that motion then.
Oh, I'll make that motion then. Good thing that was all me. I make the motion that we erase all that babbling I just did, and we table this, and we send this to public safety. Now, it's Sarah Gullion making this motion. So, based off what we've seen for the last year and 7 months, Nora's going to vote for it. Gullion's going to vote for it. Brandon's going to vote for it. Dishman's going to vote for it. And Harold and McIntosh is going to vote for it. So that will be 6 people voting to table it. And the 3 Republicans will vote to say no. All right. We're going to count this down here. I'm going to mark it down as we hear it because we're going to see what goes on here.
This to the Public Safety Committee and maybe work toward getting some kind of.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
In terms of action, table and send to.
Right.
Yeah.
So Sarah Gullion motion, Nora Powell seconded. Okay. And so the vote is yes, we're going to table it, and no, we're not going to table it. So I think that Sarah and Nora and the 4 others are going to vote yes, we're going to table it, and Rowe and Basham and Green are going to vote no, we're not going to table it. So I'm going to go ahead. We'll just let them do, but they're going to vote no because that's what's going to happen. And we know that Nora and Sarah are going to vote yes. Let's listen.
Table for your purposes this evening.
Okay, should we table first?
We have to table.
It can be a
first, right?
combined
Yeah.
table and send to your committee, to the public safety.
It can be
It
combined.
could be,
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be.
I would rather it not be
Okay.
combined.
Okay. Then, do you want to do one or the other?
Yeah. One,
Would you-
no, I would like to, no, I don't want to.
So you,
Why is Nora or why is Sarah asking Rowe? We know Rowe's like mad that this is taking this long because we all know how we're voting. We've all already been told.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded
To table?
to table.
Table to allow the council to receive information from Chief Burford.
We're gonna table this. We're gonna pump the brakes like we love to do in Muncie, and we're gonna get information because information is good, and it's never a bad thing to get information, right?
Regarding how this will affect our residents.
Very well said.
Well, just
Well, Harold Mason said very well said, so he's got to be a yes vote, right?
All in favor?
let's do
Do we do a voice
All
vote?
in favor. We're just gonna do it by a yay. No, they're like, let's do a voice vote. Thank God.
Roll call.
McIntosh,
Yes.
McIntosh says yes. Okay, that's good. That's one.
Selby,
No.
Oh, Selby's a no.
Gullion,
Yes.
Basham,
Oh.
No.
Gullion was a yes, and Basham is a no. 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 Okay. Listen. Oh, hey, Audie Barber.
Dishman,
No.
Hey, wait, whoa, what? Dishman voted no. I want to put the video back down on there. Did he move his hands? Did he say he said no? So Dishman voted no?
Powell,
Yes.
Green,
No.
Powell voted yes. Green. Well, Green voted no, of course. Okay.
Garrett,
No.
What? Garrett voted no.
Mason.
Yes.
And Mason voted yes. So wait a minute. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 yeses. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 no's. And amazingly, all of the yeses are Democrats. And all of the no's are Republicans, including Gary Dishman and Brandon Garrett. Okay, well, they don't want to table it. Maybe it's because they just want to vote it down in the vote. So let's hear what goes on there.
4 yeses.
So now we're going to vote. And this is it. This is it. $1,600 ambulance ride, $2,700 ambulance ride, 400% shit, man. What? Let's listen. Let's hear it. This is the vote.
I call question.
I call a question.
On the original ordinance?
The original ordinance.
On the original ordinance, with just nothing as is, nothing else.
Okay.
Question's been called.
Question's been called. Somebody get to work.
For the original ordinance.
The original ordinance.
On the original ordinance? Where are we working? Are they still is this thing on?
Okay.
McIntosh,
No.
Okay. All right. McIntosh just had to vote no. All right. He voted no. He does not want to raise the money.
Basham,
Yes.
Basham wants to raise the rates.
Green,
Yes.
Green wants to raise the rates.
Dishman,
Yes.
Dishman, Republican Dishman, and that sounded like a weak yes. It literally sounded like they have gutted him. Yes. So Dishman just voted yes.
Garrett,
Yes.
Dang. Boom, pang, pow. Garrett just voted yes.
Selby,
Yes.
Selby voted yes.
Gullion,
No.
Gullion voted no.
Powell,
No.
Powell voted no.
Mason.
No.
Mason voted no. Well, let's take a look at those votes. So those votes, the no's were 1, 2, 3, 4, the same as the yes on the other side. And amazingly, they're all Democrats. And the yeses are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, same as the no's last time, and they're all Republican. Listen, folks, we are in a very weird situation. This is a very strange situation basically, what we need to do is we need to clear all these people out of here. And we need to make the council a two-body council, two-person council. The council needs to be like this. For the Republican Party, Dale Basham. And for the Democrat Party, Nora Powell. Because Nora tells the Democrats what to do. They vote like Nora says. Nora is the one that pushes how to vote. Now, listen, I'm giving Dishman and Garrett a bunch of hell for how they voted tonight. This is gross. But they were no different when they were Democrats. They voted how Nora told them to vote when they were Democrats, and now they're voting how Dan tells them to vote as Republicans. That's all this is. That's all this is. But now what we see here is this is why the Republicans are celebrating, because the council is officially under Dan's control. Dan is the administration, and he's the leader of the council. That's that. That's all there is. I just don't know, man. I don't know what I think. I mean, I know what I think about this, but it's gross. Now, I want you to listen to what's said here. Yeah, right.
Okay. The ordinances.
We're done. That meeting's over. Now they're going to go into public comments. And we're
Nothing else anyone
there's
has?
one public comment.
Any other questions? Okay. We're gonna go to public comment at this time.
Hammer and Grubb.
He didn't scafe. He didn't get anything. He didn't get anything, in my opinion. I think what he gets is they're gonna, let me be real clear. Somebody said earlier, somebody posted earlier, I cannot believe that, let me find this post. This says it all. This says it all right here. I like Jerry as a person. I've known Jerry a very long time. I like Jerry as a person. This is shocking to me. Someone said on Jeff's post, funny how the same people who spent years calling Jerry a dimwit are now cheering for him to be on their team. They have no convictions. And I simply responded back and said, no, they're still calling him that. The local GOP does not give a rip about Brandon or Jerry. All they care about is having this 5-headed vote. 5-headed vote. Vote, 5-headed vote. Scaife, you ought to run. I'd back you in a minute. I would back you in a minute. And I'm sure I don't agree. I can't say that. I'm sure there's things that we disagree on, but I've loved every time you've been at bat speaking. Even back in the days when you were getting up there and going crazy. I love it. I love every single thing because I like that you speak for the people of Muncie And I'm not meaning this in any kind of way. I like that you speak for your people in your community. I respect that, man. I respect the hell out of you. And I would back you in a minute. Audie's going to run for District 3. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. And so, listen, I am a conservative. And this is wild, what we're seeing here. But I want you to listen to what Cameron has to say here in his personal comments.
Hey again, Council. Cameron Grubbs. I had a few asks. One, like with this, I've noticed in the agendas and stuff, one, that you don't really list the boards and stuff that come up. Would that be something that you could start doing, is listing what boards so that people can reach out to their council members to say,
Yep,
I'd
makes
like to be on
sense.
this
Okay.
board or whatever, anything like that. Also, is there anything that can be done to kind of, I know that there's been times where there's
good.
late submissions. And so is that something that can be introduced to, like, hey, we're going to put things, required documentation for the meeting.
All right, I like
2
what he's
weeks ahead
saying
of
here.
time, something like that, if there's not already something. Then, and just making sure that all the packets have everything. That would be great. Also, there's some events coming up. Just wanted to shout out. There's
I
always
don't care
First
about
Thursday
this.
coming up. There's a $2 tour on the Ball State campus.
Great.
Mary's Miles 5K to benefit the Recovery Cafe.
Great.
That's on August 23rd. Both of those are on August 23rd. Minnetrista Farmers Market
Love it.
is on Saturdays. I'd also really like to point out, I'd really like to give council members the
Now listen to what he says
appreciation.
here.
Those that have stayed
This is funny, but this is not. I want you to hear what he says here at the very end is very telling.
with their convictions. Good job. I appreciate that you guys have done that, that you've stuck it out and have not changed anything, those of you that have done that.
Okay, here we go. Here's the comment that matters.
5 that just voted that down, and this is not the first time I've seen it. What is the hard?
For the 5 of you that just voted this down, for the 5 of you that just voted this down,
part about waiting? I don't understand that. There's been time that opioids, y'all voted against that. Y'all voted against waiting. I don't understand that. What is the problem with waiting, with getting more information? Does more information provide a worse argument?
does more information provide a worse argument? When has that ever been a statement? No, we got to do it now because more information is going to make this way bad.
I mean, if anybody can answer me that, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Cameron.
I just want.
Why? You see Brandon right there. You see Brandon right there. And this council, remember, since 2019, one of the things that the council has always wanted to do was supposed to slow government down. Was just supposed to slow it down. Look at Garrett. I guarantee you, these people have known they've sold their soul.
What is the hard part about waiting? I don't understand that. There's been time that opioids, y'all voted against that. Y'all voted against waiting. I don't understand that. What is the problem with waiting, with getting more information? Does more information provide a worse argument? I mean, if anybody can answer me that, I'd appreciate it.
Look at Brandon right here.
Thank you, Cameron.
I just wanted one comment to add to your announcement of events for the $2 tour of the
No,
village.
that's it. I'm not watching any more city stuff. They go on and talk about a lot of other stuff. If you want to go watch it, you can watch the whole meeting. There are a couple of other interesting things. They have one talk where they're talking about changing like zoning, and that's a pretty big and important topic. But this was the biggie. This was the biggie because you know, we see what happened. They've jammed this through. They have so many questions, but they were told Dan wants it done. Burford wants it done. All the Dans want it done. Dan, and Dan want it done. The mayor's Dan, the fire chief's Dan, the deputy chief's Dan, the EMS chief's Dan. All the Dans want it done. So it's got to be done tonight. Get it done tonight. Okay? By 400%. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely, Wayne. 100%. Garrett voted to raise ambulance fees by 400%. Dishman voted to raise ambulance fees 400%. The entire 5 of the council members voted. 5 of the 9 council members voted to raise it 400%. Okay. So now we're almost out of time, but we do have to cover this. This is very, very important. Sliding from Muncie, because this is going to be a big story. We're going to keep our eyes on it, and it's going to be interesting. And as we keep going, they're just going to continue showing us how gross it really is. That there are literally people around us in this position that have sold their souls for I don't even know what. I don't know what the hell they're getting out of it. All right. But we're going to slide from Muncie into Winchester. And this is a very important conversation because this is the conversation around property rights. Now, this is only going to be a few minutes. Okay. Going to be just a very few minutes because it's not going to take that long. Look at Bobby's face here. I love Bob's face in this. This is such a great thing. Look at that. Oh my God. Hold on. I need to get a picture of it real quick. I can come back here and take pictures of this. That is fantastic, but I want to get a picture here. Dude, that looks amazing. Bob was nice to me again tonight. He was like nice and kind of smiling and waving and doing all kinds of nice things. All right. This is the private property, the alley deal. Remember? That's all we're going to hear, and then we're going to close her down.
I mean, have me something 2 or 3 days. 2 or 3 days turned into 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, here we are. Got to back it up a little bit.
Thanks for coming, Jim. Yep. Listen.
Kid Rock.
Watch John. What's that? You get him? Washington Franklin Alley. I been a struggle getting an attorney to answer questions. We did contact an attorney in Muncie. Told me to have me something 2 or 3 days. 2 or 3 days turned into 2 or 3 weeks. Multiple phone calls.
John Brooks blew him completely off. Never got back with him. Listen what he says about that.
Then I find out he's on a leave of absence. So then I try to get another attorney, and since he represents one of the owners, he said he did not want to comment. So I did give it a local attorney, and basically, and I shared this with council as well as Matt, and I think everybody, I've shared it. But anyway, where we're at is potential cost with surveys and everything else could be 30 to 40,000. And that does not touch the fact that if Mr. Briggs would go ahead and build his garage, which he's got approval by.
For them to go ahead and try to steal these people's private property, they would, in order to even start the process, it would cost them nearly $40,000 for an attorney. Plus, so keep $40,000 in your mind.
The BZA, right?
Plus, one of the owners has already been approved by the BZA, the Board of Zoning Appeals, he's going to build a barn, a garage on the back of his property, and half of it's going to go into that alley, to that driveway that's his property. And he's going to build $150,000 pole barn. Keep in mind, this guy works in construction, and he's got to have places for all of his tools and some of his trucks and stuff. So he's going to park some of that on that property. And he's already been approved. He's going to start building the garage. And so the attorney says, if and when he starts building the garage, it's now going to cost you that $40,000 for me or for the attorney, plus it's going to cost you whatever he puts in the garage. You're going to have to pay him off. You're going to have to buy the garage. So that's going to be another $150,000 there. So that's $190,000.
That garage would be basically sitting on the alley where the city would potentially have to buy that garage or move that garage. So then you're talking in, how much you got to spend on that garage? 150. So
150,000.
So that's where we're at.
That's where we're at. And I can tell you, listen, I'm going to give Bob credit. Bob is exasperated about this. Bob doesn't want to talk about this. Bob doesn't want these idiots talking about this anymore. He wants to be done with this. He wanted to be done with this back in April. And to that, I give Bob a hell yeah, bro. Very cool. You did good work here, Bob. So let's hear if the council does it or doesn't do it. Let's hear what happens.
That it gave us, that I saw the documents. It's an alley from Washington up to half right there to the alley is specified alley up to there. The rest of it does not say alley. That I've seen documents and stuff, and our lawyer saw that, and I stay the same, not to open it up. Talk to some of the citizens that's on the other side, and which is on Franklin Street. They tell me they wish the alley not to be open for safety reasons. And so far that it's been so kind of peaceful. Every once in a while they'll have fast cars or whatever, but it's been pretty darn peaceful. And I know that we had it closed. We decided not to open it a long time ago. And I feel that should be the same judgment, to keep it closed, and that this should be a dead issue. And it should be just, if they
Bob's
wanted,
shaking his head yes.
That lives there, they wanted to pursue it anymore, it should be a what do you call that, man? Civil matter.
Civil matter, dude.
Yeah, city. But that's my opinion. It's already been closed. It's already been done deal. That's just my personal opinion, because I did the campaign around it, and it should be done.
Now, I'm glad that that's what he's saying. I have been nice to Jim throughout this, and I'm glad that Jim has been on the right side of this for the majority of the time. I wouldn't be myself, and I wouldn't be telling the truth if I said he didn't always feel this way. There was a time in this that he wanted it opened, and he pushed hard to get it open. And then something changed his mind, and I don't know what that was, but I'm glad it happened, and I'm glad he changed, and he's been doing the right thing. So I give him an attaboy too. Good job, Bob. Good job, Nunez. Okay. Doesn't matter where you started at, just matters where you ended up, and you ended up on the right thing. So Jim, one councilman there's 5 councilmen. Bob's the mayor. He doesn't get a vote. There are 5 councilors, 4 districts, and 1 at large. So Nunez is a no. See you, Wanda. Nunez is a no.
Anybody else?
Well, I agree wholeheartedly with that. It just should be a done deal. It's over and done with. As far as the city's concerned.
Yeah.
Council? Tom?
Nan, she didn't even see. Good to see you, brother. Take care. Be safe. Nan was so open and shut with this, she didn't even get to be on camera. She said her piece before they even got to her. So we got Nunez is a no. Nan is a no. And Nan's been hardcore the whole time. No. All right.
Yes. I voted to have an attorney another attorney look into it to get a second opinion. I wanted to be sure that it was not a case that because that the city had maintained the alley for however many years, that it did not mean that the city owned it, basically.
That's stupid, John.
Through looking into the second opinion, through looking into what our attorney's opinion was, and then also looking into the potential cost, I cannot be in favor of trying to open the alley up. I've heard both sides in regards to very legitimate presentations.
That's stupid, John.
It did strike me about the safety issue, like how you talked about your grandchild, how Canada talked about his kids being able to go out. I do understand about, we have a parking problem. I mean, I get that. That's definitely an issue too. But, we had a tornado, we have SB1. I can't look department heads in the eyes or city workers in the eyes and be like, yeah, I'm going to spend $140,000 on this when we need to be looking at
Gary,
taking care of the people who work for the city and other matters for the city with that money. And so, I mean, yeah, at this point, I cannot vote to move forward. And I truly believe after that it was looked at, I really don't think it's an eminent domain issue. I really don't.
It's not. You're right.
Had the attorney come back and said, oh yeah, John, because the city maintained it or it was used as an alley for 100 years, that the city owns it, that'd be a little bit different. That's not what the attorney said.
Well, clearly the city doesn't
from
own
the second
it.
opinion. And so that's where I'm at now.
The first opinion didn't say the city owned it.
Mayor John Boyd, anything?
John Boyd, let's hear you.
I guess from what I've been looking at, it goes from Franklin to Washington. And for the dollar amount and the trouble it's going to be, I'd say we just let it pass. The dollar amount's going to oversee any amount of, $30,000 to $40,000 is a pretty good chunk of change for a little 30, 40 feet long.
Right.
So, I still think back in the day, someone made an error, and since it was already on the plat from end to end, they just didn't label down there. But I don't think there's no way we could prove any of that. So, so back in the day, it was all handwritten, and so I would have to say
there were no computers back in the 1850s.
Or go spend that kind of money on them. Barry?
I have fought this from day one, not because of anything against you guys. I've always been friends with Cannon. I cannot believe through all this we cannot come up with something. But when you're talking $40,000, Mr. Briggs puts a garage up, it gets up around $200,000. Personally, I apologize to the Bushes. That I feel like we've let them down. I really do. I mean, I feel like that we didn't find a resolution to this, not because of the Cooks. If it's their land, it's their land. But
why do we keep saying
why
if? I hate these people saying if it's their land, it is their land. Admit that it is their land. Admit it.
Couldn't come to through the attorneys, through the court system, why we couldn't do this. But I agree. I mean,
he keeps saying I don't understand why we couldn't. Listen, all right, give the Cooks $100,000 and give Briggs $100,000. I'll tell you what. You can have this alley for $200,000. I've not talked to. Maybe Cook say no. Maybe Cook would say no. I don't know. But I think maybe he'd say, all right, I'll give it to you for $100,000. That's what I would have said. You can have it for $100,000 for me and $100,000 for my neighbor here. And then you can take that alley and stick it up your ass for all I care.
I can't put up $200,000, you know, for the
Oh,
city's
well, he
money
can't put up
to buy something
$200,000.
like
Okay,
this.
well,
But
problem
I do
solved.
apologize to you,
Get the F off my
because I
yard.
don't think it's fair, but I don't think would be fair with Cooks if it, you know, was in their favor.
So,
That's where I'm at.
so to put this to rest, so everybody can move on with life, I'd like to
There we
have
go.
basically a motion to basically drop this and let everybody move forward.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and, drop this.
Did anybody have anything to add before?
I think the motion would be not pursuing the open meeting law.
That's what I wanted. I'll make a motion.
Motion to not pursue anything
Moved and
further.
seconded. Anything else?
Did anyone from out there?
I actually, did anybody have anything to add?
I do. Can we see about vacating that alley from Washington to our property line so that this is not brought up again? So
You
that
can
it's
file,
private.
somebody can file a petition, the adjoining landowner can file a petition to vacate.
Because I just don't want to have to, in 3 months' time, Missy Williams show up and change people's mind again. You know what I
We
mean?
need
I
a-
want this done and over with.
The proper statutory procedure would be to file a petition. At that time, there will be set for a public hearing. And then after the public hearing, then the council can determine within its discretion what to do.
Okay.
So there would need to be a written petition filed with the mayor's office or the clerk.
I just don't know any other way not to have it brought up in 4 months.
And I'm not sure you would be one to be able to file that
would,
petition. I would
yeah.
think it would be the Bushes or the but I don't know what the statute says.
All right, thank you.
How would that affect the utility rates?
At that point, we would have to look. I mean, I don't know if there's utilities
Shut
through there.
up about
How
it.
would that affect the Bushes?
I would think that they would have to think long and hard because then they need a shared driveway agreement. Who's gonna take care? Now, the city would take care of that because it's an alley. So then you'd have things to think about if I were the president. But that's up to them.
Finish. For the vote.
So all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Thank you. everybody.
5-0.
Ordinance 2025-9.
And it's done. It's done. Ladies and gentlemen, property rights win out. I'm so happy for the Cooks. I'm so happy for Cannon, the Briggs family and the Cooks. I'm happy for them. Now, I got to be honest. I'm happy for them. I'm a little sad that they didn't try to go ahead with it because I really wanted to chain myself to the fence. I was all prepared to go out there to sit down in this. I got this good comfy chair. I was gonna take handcuffs. I've got handcuffs here. Okay. So here's what I was gonna do. I was gonna take 2 sets of handcuffs and handcuff each hand. And I was going to take 2 sets of leg shackles and cuff each leg to the fence. And I was going to sit there until they either went away or came and cut the chains off of me and took me to jail or something. Something was going to happen. But I was going to stand out there and fight it for them. Fight. Property rights. Listen, I'm joking. But this is a very, very serious deal. And property rights still are not completely safe in Winchester, Randolph County. There's still the deal with Karen Wilkins and her property. The driveway next to her house that's been her driveway and the people who live there forever's driveway. The city owns the driveway and they won't let them do stuff to it. And this has been going on since like 2017. So it's been going on for years and years. We're coming up on like almost 10 years of them been dealing with this. And so that needs to be taken care of. And the people of Winchester and Randolph County always needs to be vigilant and watchful, because these people in Winchester and Randolph County, they're dumb, and they will absolutely come out there and try to steal your shit quicker than you can snap your fingers. And so I'm just letting everybody know, if you're having that happen, get a hold of me. Winchester, wherever you are in the state, get a hold of me, because I'll help you fight that. Property rights, to me, property rights are right up there next to the First Amendment, next to the Second Amendment, next to the Fourth Amendment, and next to all, it's very real. It's very real. So that's a hill that I will help you die on gladly. So I'm happy for the people in Winchester. I'm unhappy for the people in Muncie. I need to catch the Randolph County Commissioners meeting, the Delaware County Commissioners meeting, and the Grant County Commissioners meeting. I'll watch those over the next couple of days. Anything big, I'll let you know. We'll probably do a quick review of the Delaware County Commissioners meeting, at least because of the solar issue and a couple of other small things. We'll be talking about that later this week. We've got a lot more stuff to bring to you. Sorry it took so long, but we had a lot to cover today. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. Naked also, right? Absolutely. You know it. That's the only way that you can truly fight the fight. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. Share the show with everyone you know. Help spread the word. Give us a like if you haven't already. Take care of yourselves and have a great rest of your evening. Have a wonderful Tuesday. God bless each and every one of you. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. As always, goodbye. Hold on, I can't get it off here. Goodbye.